First, we begin tonight with a wrongful death lawsuit filed against a long-term care facility in Prescott. Thanks so much for joining us at 5. I'm Nicole Kreitz.
And I'm Derek Stahl in for Jared. This suit claims a patient died after he managed to get off property unsupervised in the summer heat. Jason Berry's been digging into this exclusive story for quite some time, joins us now in studio. And Jason, the family wants to make sure this never happens again.
Yeah, we all like to think if we have a loved one admitted to a long-term or nursing care facility that they'll get the best of care, but that's not always the case. Tonight we're learning more about the disturbing death of an Arizona grandfather who no one was watching when he drove his electric scooter out the front door of his rehab center and was found dead hours later. Fireworks and festivals are what most people think of on the 4th of July. But for the family of Larry Christofferson, Independence Day will forever be a symbol of sadness and loss.
Like, 4th of July is never going to be the same for me. Like, that's supposed to be a national holiday so we celebrate America, and I don't get to do that anymore because that's the day that he died.
Larry's only son, Dean, still can't believe his father is gone. But the hardest part for him is how it happened and who he says is responsible for his dad's death. This wrongful death lawsuit was just filed on behalf of Larry's family, claiming that the Granite Creek Health and Rehabilitation Center in Prescott was negligent and is responsible for the death of the 67-year-old grandfather, who left the facility on his own in his electric wheelchair back on July 4th of last year, only to be found dead a few hours later, face down on the pavement in a nearby neighborhood.
This facility did not do their job.
Robert Glassman is the attorney representing Larry's family.
These are people who are the most vulnerable people in our society. And as family members, we expect the facility to take care of them, to watch them when we can't.
According to the lawsuit, Larry had been a patient at Granite Creek's skilled nursing facility for 3 months, where he was dealing with depression, anxiety, and physical disabilities that left him as a high risk for falling. The lawsuit states that staff members were well aware that Larry required full supervision and was not permitted to leave the facility. In fact, his admission records reportedly stated in bold letters that Larry may not go out on pass. So how then was Larry able to wheel right out of the facility all by himself with no one noticing? This surveillance video shows Larry going right past the reception desk and out the front door around 1 in the afternoon. The lawsuit claims there was no one at the front desk and the front entrance of the facility was left unlocked, despite the fact it should always remain locked.
There should have been someone at the reception desk to monitor the activity in the lobby. There was no one at the desk, the door wasn't locked, and sure enough, it's a recipe for disaster.
The lawsuit also states it took staff members several hours before they realized Larry was missing. After calling Prescott police, officers were able to locate Larry by tracking his cell phone to the backyard of someone's home.
It makes me angry that my dad had to suffer because someone couldn't do their job.
Arizona's family reached out to Granite Creek and spoke to the executive director, who told us he can't comment on pending litigation, but sent us this statement that read in part, "The team of dedicated caregivers and employees of Granite Creek show up to work every single day with the goal of taking excellent care of each individual they have the privilege to serve. They are committed to making a difference in the lives of those in our community, and Granite Creek is grateful for their efforts." Larry's son tells us this lawsuit has nothing to do with money. It's about holding the facility accountable and making sure what happened to his father doesn't happen to anyone else.
We're not talking about some elaborate, expensive system to keep the patient safe. All they had to do was their job. This is something that should have never happened, and they were negligent. They just didn't do their jobs.
Now, we asked the executive director of the facility if any disciplinary action has been taken against any staff members following this incident. I was told he could not comment on that either. So far, there has not been any monetary amount requested in this case. That would be up to the jury if the case goes to trial or a possible settlement. We'll keep you posted. In studio, Jason Berry for Arizona's Family.